There's very few geniuses around in filmmaking. Most of us just work really hard, doggedly at something, and then we get repaid by inspiration, I think, every now and again. It's an enormous privilege to make films, particularly documentaries, which give you a window on other people's lives and other people's experiences. I made a film a few years ago called Man on Wire, which I adored the story of that film and felt if I could make that joy available to people in a film, then I thought the film could work really well. And I think I managed to achieve that. I managed to some extent, reproduce my own feelings, my own exuberance and enthusiasm for that story into Philippe's story. And that film, when I finished it, was the first film I finished. I thought, I like that film. That's not bad, that one. Up until that point, I didn't feel like a success at all. I felt like a total failure because I wasn't making a very good living, and much as I was trying my best to do good work, it wasn't always finding an audience. And then suddenly, all the things I'd learned as a filmmaker got expressed in one film, plus that film had a very beautiful idea in it. It was never my objective. When you start off making documentaries, as I did at the BBC, you don't think, my big ambition is to win an Oscar. But actually it made a big difference to my life and career. It allowed me to make another film straight away, which I hadn't ever been able to do before. And still, I think that film will stick with me, because I've always been an Oscar-winning filmmaker from that point on. There's one thing that makes you, I think, a sort of more reasonable person. It's probably having kids, not being a filmmaker. Man on Wire was a film I made for my children, essentially. I wanted to make a film that showed them how to dream and to think big, and this is the best we can do, is to have these great big ambitions and to do beautiful things for no reason at all is a wonderful objective, which I still believe to this day. I love the pointlessness of what Philippe did, the pointless beauty of it, and why would we not want that to happen? And why would you ever ask him why he did it? Because it seems to me obvious why you do something beautiful for its own sake. You're trying to distill a dramatic story out of true events. That's definitely what I'm doing in documentary films. But it has to feel to you to be truthful, that you've got some sense of this is kind of how it was. I often get asked about shooting reconstructions and making things dramatic and more like a feature film. Well, why wouldn't you if you could? Why wouldn't you try and get the audience to experience something in the sort of present tense as a drama unfolds, as opposed to it being a sort of dry historical account of something? I'd much rather involve emotions which are much more unreliable than facts, but they're equally undeniable. How people felt is as important as the fact of something, to my way of making films at least.